1 minute until showtime.
Hey! That's at 103.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, you think we'll try it again?
Nah, that's good.
Okay, 103. We're going to let you off easy this time.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, 103 it is.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, from the world's most famous beach, from where beach racing began, it's the Legends of Racing radio show, live from racing's North Turn Beach Bar and Grill in Ponce Inlet, Florida. The Legends of Racing radio show with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Gary Keller.
All righty.
Hey.
Hey, thank you very much, everybody. This is great. And boy, what great weather today. Nice and cool, and a little bit of breeze coming through.
Thank goodness the breeze cut down a little bit for the last 2 days. But I'll tell you, I was telling somebody here a little bit ago, the night of the hurricane, I actually went outside.
Really?
And I walked from where the park is, where the partial track of the old beach.
Yeah.
Walked from there up here to the North Turn, and it actually blew me up.
Really?
I mean, I had to keep from rolling.
Holy cow.
But it was really an experience. You know, I didn't want to turn around and go back because the sand would have came into my eyes.
Well, how'd you get back?
I came up here, cut up, and came back to the road.
Oh, is that right?
So there wasn't near as much sand on the actual
Oh, my
roadway.
gosh. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had our trials and tribulations lately.
Yes,
but
for sure.
we're getting through them. I got two of my neighbor's solar panels in my backyard. I don't know which neighbor it is. Nobody's come looking for them yet, but I don't know how I'm going to move the darn things.
They'll probably come over and get them after they turn them in the insurance company.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I'd like to get them out of my yard.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
St. Pete, Clearwater's still a mess.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yep.
We're starting to get electricity now and some normalcy, somewhat. So that's good. Thank goodness that Milton did not put the actual water that they anticipated. They expected 10 to 15 of water surge, 15 feet.
Right.
Didn't happen. It was like 3 or 4. So the work that we had done, we didn't have to go back and redo it, which I'm glad about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because you were just down there.
Yeah.
With Helene, right?
Yeah, yeah. And we're still there.
Yeah.
You know, so it's going to be a while.
Wow, that's amazing.
Hurricanes.
We got a guy today I'm really excited about. He's run dirt, he's run asphalt, he's run the 24 Hours of Daytona, just a little bit of everything. And it's a guy that I've heard a lot about for a long time, and I'm so thrilled that he's here today, Mr. Joe Jacalone.
All right.
Thank you.
And
glad to be here.
And Joe, you were an audience attendee for a while with us, and we didn't even realize who you were. We didn't know we had a star in the crowd.
That's right.
Yeah, I actually showed up here for one of your shows live, too, and really enjoyed it. And I thought, what a great job you guys do. And you've had some really, I mean, when Mike Ludini contacted me and said that Buzz would like to have me on the show, I was honored and blown away. And I was like, why does he want me? When I've seen some of the guests you guys have had, and you know, this is a business here, and you want to attract people. You know, so.
Oh, well, no, you're very worthy, Joe. Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're very worthy.
I appreciate
and, you
it.
know, what's nice about our crowd is that our week in, week out crowd, a lot of our people are racers, or they were affiliated at one time with a racing team. So that's always good.
Oh, it's wonderful to be around like people, and that's one of the things I noticed about this. I wish it wasn't so far from where I lived, although that may change. But yeah, I love places like this, and the crowd that you get they're real hardcore racers and people that love the sport and what it was and what it can still be.
Yeah. And that's a big word, Joe, that you just used, what it was. You know, a lot of the racing, the series have dissipated somewhat. You don't have your mom and pop tracks like you used to have. Buzz and I have talked about that. Over the years, it's sad. And NASCAR, we don't know really what's going on with them. I mean, we see the crowds dissipate somewhat. Don't know if they've priced themselves out of the game or what, but you see all these NFL stadiums filled every week, every one of them, and NASCAR can't even fill up one.
I know. It's
so.
sad.
So yeah, it is. So I don't know. Now we got lawsuits, antitrust lawsuits going on between team owners and NASCAR, and I'm going to tell you, folks, Michael Jordan has as much money as NASCAR, and he's not going. He's not going away. I saw this morning where NASCAR their attorneys tried to get the case dropped. Well, there ain't no way in hell that's going to happen.
No.
Yeah. No. So they're not going to go away, and I think NASCAR. Maybe it's time that somebody does stand up to him, and that's what he's doing, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be exciting to see how it all plays out.
Oh yeah, can't wait to see how it shakes out for sure. Now, were you a motorhead from the time you were a little kid? Or?
From the time I could breathe, I think I was. My dad owned a Gulf gas station in St. Augustine.
Oh, so did my dad up in Pennsylvania.
Right? Gulf,
yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, I have affinity for that. I buy all kinds of memorabilia. But anyway, and I was there every minute he would let me be there. And pumped gas. Started pumping gas there when I was 7 years old.
Oh, my gosh.
And was there pretty much. That's been my life since then. But, yeah, I was.
I'll be darned. Did you ever know Bill Snowden?
I knew who he was.
Uh-huh.
I knew he drove for Mac Richardson.
That's right.
And I knew who he was. I was very young at that time. But he was a great driver from that area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's from St. Augustine, him and Skimp Hersey. And
oh, yeah. I know the Herseys. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned golf gas stations. They were kind of like the elite of the elite.
Oh, yeah.
Golf and Texaco, I think.
Yeah.
But, if you were Ohio back then or one of the others, you were kind of like a cheaper refinery. But golf, man.
That's right.
Were they based out of Texas?
Houston.
The refinery? Houston? Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I remember my dad sponsored a couple of cars that belonged to a guy that worked for him. And the Gulf colors were orange and blue. So they went ahead and they painted one of the cars blue and orange and the other one orange and blue. And then they had the Gulf stickers on the side.
Yeah.
My very first race car was a 66 Pontiac Le Mans that I ran for the first time at Putnam County Raceway when it reopened in 1979 or 80.
Oh, no kidding. You must know Ronnie Roan.
Oh, yeah. Ronnie very well. And his wife, Sue. Yeah, sure. Ronnie and I raced against each other over there.
Right.
But
Jacksonville?
Jacksonville Speedway. I didn't go as much there because it was such a pull for me. But the funny thing you mentioned golf is I painted that first car with Gulf curb paint with a brush. With orange and blue.
Did you really?
Curb paint with a brush.
Oh, be darned.
It was cheap. It was free. I stole it from my dad.
Yeah, free is good. Golly, so that was really kind of a dream come true when you got to actually sit behind the wheel of a race car. Huh?
Couldn't believe it. And honest to God, the Grand Marshal at that race, which I don't know, I think it was an omen, but the Grand Marshal at that race was Leroy Yarborough.
Oh, my gosh.
When they reopened the racetrack. And I still can see him standing there. And that was after he had started having some health challenges.
Yeah, right.
But still, I was like, that's Leroy Yarborough.
Wow. Isn't that something? He was Mr. Jacksonville for sure.
He was. Him and his brother Eldon.
Yeah.
Remember Eldon?
Yeah, I understand Eldon's got some health issues he's dealing with right now. Yeah, but
I've expressed the Buzz over the years. I'm so jealous of you, and maybe you too, Joe. All the acquaintance of, even though I was involved in ownership in NASCAR, I didn't meet some of the David Pearsons and some of the Cale Yarboroughs, and you did. And you rubbed shoulders with them and had dialogue with them, and I'm so envious of that. I would have loved to have had that opportunity to meet a lot of those guys. I've met a lot of people, but there's just a few that's just missing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, that's for sure. And as a kid, I had to pinch myself. Am I really standing here with Paul Goldsmith and Sam McQuagg, people like that?
Yeah. One of the first shows I did here with you was with Paul.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And I about died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great gentleman he was.
Yeah.
We just lost him not long ago at the age of 98.
Yes.
One of my favorite experiences I had at St. Augustine Speedway after it was paved, and I think it was 98. I don't know if you knew, but David Pearson bought a bunch of those little mini cup cars. And he thought he was going to start like a little series.
Right.
And I didn't even know this. I was at my shop, and somebody said, hey, you know that David Pearson's up there running these little cars around the Speedway, and you can go pay $10 a lap and go drive them.
I'll be darned.
Well, I was already running my late model there, but I would drive anything. So I said, I'm going to run up there with a $100 bill and go try these little cars. this is a true story. So I get up there and I don't see David, but the guy goes, "Oh yeah, $10 lap." So here's $100. I'm going to do 10 laps. So I got in the car, ran the laps. Come in, when I pull in, who comes over to talk to me but David Pearson?
Really?
He leans in the window.
Yeah.
And we ended up sitting on the back of his pickup truck for about a half an hour just talking.
Oh, my gosh.
He was just the best guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, he was a real funny guy. He had a warped sense of humor, and you never know if he was pulling your leg or not, you know.
Some say that lap on top of lap, that David Pearson was probably the best driver that ever lived.
Could be.
There's a lot of surveys, a lot of different medias that claim that.
Yep.
I mean, that's hard to believe over King Richard,
Yep.
Cale, some of them, but
Yep.
they said, he always ran a limited schedule,
Yep.
as we all know, and everything that he did, he was always top 5.
That's right. And the 3 times he ran for the championship, he won.
Yeah.
And the times that he and Petty ran first and second, Pearson outbeat Richard, 33-30. They ran together 63 times. Can you imagine that, finishing first and second?
That's unreal.
But and he made it look so easy, and he was so self-effacing, and he never thought he was any big deal.
No. And Joe, what was neat to me is that he never really had the equipment like the Pettys did.
No.
But he was just a hell of a driver, wasn't he?
Oh yeah. And,
Yeah.
during those glory years with the Wood
Yeah.
brothers, they never really had the budget to run full season, so he would just pick and choose the races that he could run. And if he had run as much as Richard had, I think he would have beat Richard.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there's any doubt based on
Yeah.
what, if you look at the history of him, what he did and accomplished.
Yeah, that's for
I
sure.
have to ask you guys, do you think there will ever be another champion like Jimmy Johnson, Richard Petty, that could ever win 7 or even 5?
Boy, oh
I mean,
boy.
that's tough this day and age, because the cars are so equal.
Yeah.
They're on level playing ground. Ladies and gentlemen, I just don't know if we'll ever see repetitious championships like we saw there for a
Well,
while.
they always said that nobody would ever get 7, and then Jimmy Johnson came out and proved them wrong. But at this point, I don't see how it could possibly happen. What do you think, Joe?
Well, my opinion is based on what I see, what you see drivers doing now is retiring early. They make so much money from whether it be endorsements or sponsorship or what have you, but they're just not going to put the commitment in where you got to stay that long. I mean, it would, even to do it, to win 7 championships, you'd have to be there a long time, and I don't see that being the case anymore.
Yeah.
I question a lot of the heart of the modern day driver. Now, I've only been out of it for a year. Saw a lot of kids come up, a lot of kids race, a lot of kids successful. Ross Chastain, Ryan Priest, all these guys went through our stable.
Right.
I don't think that these kids have the love for racing. I think it's all about a lot more turns into the money, the glory, and then they bail.
Could be.
Yeah.
That could be.
The sport's changed a lot.
It has.
And I can't say for the better. I know some of you old timers out there, you probably agree with me, and we all sometimes want to say, well, we lived in a day that it was this, it was that. But, I wonder if we're ever going to replicate it again.
Well, I don't know. But the kids today, they start off real young, and then they get backers all of a sudden. And then it just follows them all the way up the chain. And before you know it, they're running truck, and then Xfinity, and then Cup. Here, look at Kosovar. I love that kid.
Yeah.
He's only 21. He's running Cup already.
Yeah.
And he's just the right place at the right time, had the right people behind him. And that seems to be the way of the sport now.
Yeah. He and Ross Chastain got very close. They're good friends, and Ross helped promote. He told him how to promote himself.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's worked out for him.
Yeah.
I remember I had been basically focusing on sports car racing through the early 2000s, through really to the about 2010, and got away from stock car racing. But then I decided I wanted to go back and do some more oval track stuff, so I bought a super late model to run at New Smyrna in 2011. And I remember showing up for Speed Weeks 2012, and at that Speed Weeks, Kyle Larson was in the super late models.
Oh, my.
John Hunter Nemechek, Chase Elliott.
Jeez.
The first night I ran there was a Friday night, and I finished 14th out of 27 cars, and I was so proud. I said to this day, I beat Chase Elliott. I didn't really beat him, but he finished behind me, if you see the results. But what amazed me, having been away from it for so long, and you didn't really see this so much in the professional sports car races I ran, But the age of the kids that were crawling in those super late models.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh,
I thought
yeah.
these are my little kids that are climbing in there. I remember one kid I walked over to him and I had to say, and it wasn't one of the famous guys. I said, "How old are you?" He said, "I think he said 15."
Oh my gosh.
I mean, he looked like a baby, and I was like, I can't believe they're putting these guys in these 600 horsepower super late models.
Right.
You know?
That's right. Yeah, Daniel Dye, who's on his way up the ladder.
I raced
now.
against his daddy actually out here when Randy ran the limited late models in the 90s.
Is that right?
Yep,
Yeah, he
sure
wasn't
did.
a bad racer.
No, Randy was pretty good. The first night, I remember him showing up. He showed up with this beautiful number 43. It looked like Richard Petty's car, and he crashed it on the first lap. I mean, we had like 30-some cars
geez.
starting back then during speed weeks in the late models.
Yep.
And on the first lap, big get-together, and that beautiful car got demolished.
Oh, my gosh.
Where'd
Really?
you run? New Smyrna?
New Smyrna, I ran every asphalt track at some point pretty much in northeast central Florida. I ran Citrus, New Smyrna, Orlando Speed World, Lake City. I didn't run much at Lake City. And Volusia, I never ran Volusia on asphalt, though. I ran on the dirt.
No. What was Citrus like?
It was like flying a fighter jet in a gymnasium.
Really?
In a super late model. To me, I never really took to the quarter-mile tracks. But, I mean, you come off the corner and you're in the next corner. And it was so hard to get used to after running this super speedway here, like New Smyrna, because with the long straightaways, you know.
Yeah. You remember Citrus, Buzz?
Never been there.
Yeah.
Yep, never been there. I know it was dirt for a long time.
Was it? I didn't know that.
I believe so, yeah. And did you ever run Sunshine?
Never ran, always wanted to, never went that far. Always wanted to run, where I really wanted to go was Hialeah, because that was where the action was.
Yeah.
But that was a pull, Miami, so.
Yeah, and boy, the legacy of that track.
Red Farmer and the Allison boys.
Yep.
You know.
Gary Ballou,
See.
our old buddy Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to have him on soon.
That'd be nice.
We got to have him on.
Has he
every
been
6
on yet?
months. Oh, he's been on 3 or 4 times.
I don't remember seeing him on here.
And it's always exciting. Every time he's here, he's always got another story.
That's for sure.
It's hard to believe Gary would have any stories.
Yeah, it's amazing. Hey, we're going to take a break here. We'll be right back with Joe Jacalone.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. At Beach Boys Embroidery and Tees, it's all about making you happy. Beach Boys Embroidery can customize your athletic golf apparel, caps, hats, badges, buttons, magnets, backpacks, bags, totes, clocks, watches, and of course, T-shirts. Sure, they're at 2033 South Ridgewood Avenue in South Daytona, and they're waiting for you to call now. 386-255-5880. Beach Boys Embroidery and Tees. Let Aloha Marine get you on the water with huge discounts on great brands like Bayliner, Carolina Skiff, Hurricane, Key West, and Regal. Pay as little as $169 a month with 10% down and approved credit. Don't wait. Get to Aloha Marine, 1700 North Nova Road, Holly Hill, Monday through Saturday. 47 years and always better than boat show prices. We're back from where it all began. Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Gary Keller.
All righty. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate that. We thank you, everyone out there watching us out there in the hinterlands, in the metropolitan areas, and the boondocks and all that stuff. We just really thank you for taking time out of your day to check us out. And, I hear more and more from people that say, "Yeah, I never miss your show," and that really, really makes us feel good. You know? Yeah,
for sure.
This segment's being brought to you locally by Staples on International Speedway Boulevard. Anything for the office. If you got something you need done, just go on up there and check with them, and I'll guarantee that they'll be able to do it, or at least try. And you can check out the show on YouTube. You can check it out live, the Legends of Racing radio show on YouTube. Hit like and share if you would. And then also, an hour later, you can check it on Facebook. So you got two different ways to see the show. If you're here and you want to see it, if you want to see it after the fact, just go to Facebook.
You know, what's good about this time of year, Buzz, is that we start getting people coming in slow but sure. You know, the snowbirds. You know, we have Vicky and her husband from Wisconsin, the Pabst Blue Ribbon people.
Oh, they'll be in a couple of weeks.
Always anxious to see new faces.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Bill Cushing will be here.
Yes.
And, Joe McGovern, and all those snowbirds are going to start coming back.
Yeah.
It'll be like old times again.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So, what was your first ride in a sports car?
So in 1980, growing up, my brother Jerome and I, Jerome Jacalone, who I have to say that he has been responsible for allowing me to do some of the crazy things I've been able to do that I never believed I could. And you know, I owe a lot to him. But we always were car nuts growing up, both of us. And we always talked about getting in the SCCA, and we wanted to go sports car racing. But it seemed a million miles away to me. You know, it just didn't seem really possible.
It was not an easy path.
It wasn't at that time because we didn't have the internet like we have today, and you click your phone, and you had to get a paper catalog and order parts and join the club with a paper clip out of the magazine. And so I gravitated into stock car racing, but I always wanted to do that. And so in '82, I put together a little Triumph Spitfire and started racing in SCCA and won the championship in Central Florida in '83.
No kidding.
With that Spitfire?
With the Spitfire.
No
after flipping it at Sebring
my.
on the back straightaway.
Holy
and
cow.
I was so distraught because I was leading the championship and that happened. I broke an axle. Unfortunately, didn't get hurt. I hurt my back a little bit. But anyway, went to the next race, and the guy that I was racing for the championship had a problem too, so I ended up winning it. So I was really lucky. But that got me started in it, and I stayed in. I went with they were called sports Renaults then. They were like little sports racing cars.
Sure, that was a great class.
And did that for a few years, and then I went back to stock car racing, but always with the eye. I really wanted to run some big sports car races. So my brother and I, as we got more financially stable and able to do it, with his help, he said, "Do you want to run the 24 Hours of Daytona?"
Oh, man.
And that was in '06. And I said, "You know I do." And he said, "We're going to do it."
Yep.
Well, the next year, we tried to buy a car from Porsche from the factory, and they were sold out.
Oh.
And they said, "Well, we'll put you on the list for the following year." So we were lucky. They called us, "Do you still want a car?" And we said, "Yes." So we put it together in my little garage because it wasn't. They said it was. Porsche told you it was a race-ready car. Well, it wasn't.
Wow.
It was not ready?
It's like Jack Atkinson, who was the crew chief. He ended up being our crew chief the first year in the 24-hour.
That's strong.
Yeah, for the crew chief for Brumos for years.
Oh, my God.
He must have believed in you, man.
Well, we had a good friend that believed in us, and Jack and I still have a great relationship. But he said Porsche put those cars together. They were AFT. And I said, "What does AFT mean?" He said, "Assembled for transport."
Yeah.
He said, "It's up to you to actually finish the car." So we found that out. But we did really good. We were 14th the first year after 15 hours.
Wow.
And then we broke a gearbox. And I was out of 40 GT cars with an amateur team.
Jeez, that's terrific.
And then we came back the next year with a couple of pro drivers, Randy Popst and Shane Lewis. And we ended up finishing 10th in GT out of 30 cars. So it was pretty. Then we ran in '08. We ran actually 5 other races in Grand Am. We ran, including Watkins Glen, Homestead.
Mid-Ohio?
We didn't run Mid-Ohio. We ran the July race at Daytona. We ran the New Jersey Motorsports Park, which actually it was the very opening of the track. That was an interesting story in itself. But, yeah, we had a great time. That was a great year for us.
Well, so you had fun.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. I bet Watkins Glen was a hoot, huh?
My favorite track in the country, even though both times I've been there, I've crashed.
Is that right?
And I love it.
And you ran the boot.
That's where I crashed.
Oh, is that right?
In the laces of the boot, both time in the same daggum spot.
Oh, son of a gun.
So was the 24 hours probably the most exciting race that you were ever involved in?
Yeah, my brother gave me the honor of starting the car in 2008. And I had tears in my eyes sitting on the grid because to be at Daytona for that race that I'd attended for years as a spectator.
That's huge.
And for, what it meant to me, the history of that track and the people that had raced there. And it was emotional. And it was oh my God, I'll never forget that.
Was it kind of intimidating going down the backstretch and having those factory cars go whizzing by?
You know, I guess because I had already raced there so much, it wasn't as much as I thought it would be. I was a racer, and I'd done it so long. And, I mean, honestly, you've been at New Smyrna with 30 cars. You know, those guys they're not fun sometimes.
Yeah.
They're serious. And I raced against guys like Wayne Sugar.
Oh, yeah.
My good friend. I'm sorry that he passed away.
Yeah, he was on our show just a
we
few
know
weeks
him.
before he died.
Wayne and those guys, man, they race for a living.
Yeah.
And, you know, you weren't going to take dinner off their table.
No.
And so having done that, I think it helped me a lot when I stepped up to the pro level in the sports cars.
Right.
I remember that's what Ross told me the first time that he ran Daytona. He says it's just so massive, so big. You feel like you can move. You feel like you can maneuver, you know. And I'm sure that's probably how you felt.
It was. It was,
You know.
oh, my God. Except, and this is funny, when I first went there in my Spitfire, it's a little tiny car, and got up on the banking side by side with these guys, and the first thing that went into my head was, how does David Pearson and Richard Petty and Neil Bonnet go 3 wide in here at 200 miles an hour, and I'm in here doing 70 miles an hour with 2 cars, and it feels narrow. And so that was kind of a wake-up that, yeah, it's big, but it's not as big as I thought it was.
Yeah. So you used to run a lot of those SCCA weekends out there at the track?
I did. I've done, I probably, it's funny, I think about it, I probably have as many laps at Daytona as I have anywhere else.
Really?
Just being close and everything that would come up there, I'd run. Well, the other thing is, which I don't know if you knew this, I worked at the Petty Experience
Oh, did you
I
really?
did.
from 2011 to 2020, giving
Right.
rides and so forth.
Yep.
And we'd go out there and on a busy day, I'd say we ran a Daytona 500 today. We
Wow.
did 200 laps.
Oh, there's no doubt.
And that
I
was-
watched what you guys did in a day's time. I mean, that's a lot of laps, man. But fun.
Oh, it was fun
You
in the
know.
beginning, and then that's what happened. I said, it's not as droning around there. It got a little bit tiring, but I'm still officially an employee. I get the emails and all, but I haven't been out there, I think, really since 20 or 21. But, yeah, it was a lot of fun when it started. It was pretty exciting and cool to get to do that.
Oh, and watching the reaction of the people, too.
That was the best part, Buzz.
Yeah.
Honest to God, is in all my jobs have always been where people don't like handing me money. And they're just happy to do it, you know. So,
I did 172.6.
oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's
Whoa.
all. That'll
Petty.
put you in the tail end of the ARCA race.
Yeah, Petty experience.
would.
I did. Not in the draft. I thought hey, that was the best
Pretty
speed
good.
of the day.
Yeah.
For my mom's
Yeah.
80th birthday, we got her a ride in a Petty car.
Yeah.
And it was only like 3 laps, and she was very disappointed. She says, she wanted to do 100 laps. And she just thought
She
that was the
loved it,
coolest
huh?
thing.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Most people do, and even the people that are a little intimidated when they first get in the car.
Wow.
You always tell them, I'd say, if you let me know, wave your hand if you're uncomfortable, and we'll slow down or something. Most time they're going like this.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. Now, I bet to me the most fun was coming off the line, going down pit road, sitting you back in the seat, and boy, that's just a mind-blowing moment right there.
If you've never done it, it's an experience. And I've done a lot of instructing in sports car racing over the years, and I always tell people when they're going to race, I'm going to tell you the first thing you're going to say when you get out of that race car, you're going to say, it's not what I expected.
There you go.
And that's usually what they say. That isn't anything like what I expected.
Yeah, that gives you a whole new respect, though, for the drivers that are out there. Like you say, you're running 3 wide. And, look at the Talladega a couple weeks ago running 4 wide out there, all those laps. It's crazy. But it does give you a whole new appreciation for what those guys do out there.
Absolutely, it should, yeah.
What do you think about that? The big one
Oh,
at
boy.
Talladega.
The record.
Yeah,
It was
no,
a
it
record.
wasn't the record. It was
It
the
wasn't?
second. Yeah.
Oh, no
the
kidding.
1960, I think.
Oh, out
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. There was 30-some-odd cars in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the biggest one for Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Took a
It's-
lot of cars out.
Yeah.
You guys would have to tell me what happened because, unfortunately, the way things have changed. Honestly, I'm not a spectator anymore.
Really?
It's changed so much. I can't watch it anymore. I'm sorry.
I still do. I still watch it. I still have the love. You know.
Yeah.
I have that DNA, I guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't tear myself away.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. Now, they had a 28-car pile at the Talladega this year.
I heard about it.
The big one, it was mega big. Yeah, and some of the cars limped away. A lot of them had to get towed away, but it was a big mess, that's for sure.
How do you think you would have fared, Joe, if you were a driver of today? If you were driving, let's just say in the Xfinity or Truck Series, How do you think you would have done?
I mean, I like to think I'd have done okay.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely had the competitive bug. I mean, you were there.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. You never know until you actually do it, and that's what I always say. I used to wonder about it at every level where I raced is, how would I do?
Right.
But you've driven the Petty Experience, and God knows how many laps you did at Daytona or wherever. But you had the bug, didn't you? I
did, and that was a good experience. It was fun. But stock car racing it's different than road racing. It's a whole different thing, and a lot of people think it transfers easily, but it doesn't. And I'm most impressed by the guys I've seen in NASCAR that can jump in a road race and do really well, because it is a different discipline and it's a different mindset to drive in the cars. So, like I said, having a short track stock car experience quite a bit. I don't super speedway stuff I don't have other than doing the Petty deal. So I don't know for sure, but I like to think I could have picked it up. Because the sports cars we're driving, I mean, the fast ones in the tri-oval were running 180 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, the Camaro we just sold a couple of years ago would touch 180 in the tri-oval.
Oh my gosh! Hey, this is Joe Jacalone here. We're going to be right back after this break.
Hey, Joe.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Racing's original North Turn is our broadcast headquarters. If you're looking for a good drink, great entertainment, and the best in food, they're right on the beach at Racing's original North Turn. Come on down to dinner tonight. Here are a couple of testimonials. These are actual testimonials from people who have enjoyed the North Turn. Been there many times, always great food and drinks, great location on the beach. And another, what a great experience. It's my new favorite restaurant in the Daytona Beach area, Racing's Original North Turn on South Atlantic Avenue. That's A1A and Ponce Inlet, about 3.2 miles south of the Dunlawton Bridge and A1A intersection. It's Racing's Original North Turn, a restaurant, museum, bar, gift shop, live music. That's Racing's North Turn. Thanks to you, the original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill has been voted the caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Daytona Flea and Farmers Market is still the one for great savings and the best variety. Whether you need flowers and trees for your home or you're looking for great prices on Daytona Beach souvenirs, the market is the place to go. The market features 1,000 booths, 2 air-conditioned malls, a restaurant, and 9 snack shacks. Hops Grill features gourmet burgers and garden blend salads. Treat yourself to a great variety of brat and hot dog creations at the Dog House, or enjoy a refreshing drink at the Seltzer Oasis. The market is open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and is 90% undercover, so you can shop rain or shine. There's never a charge for parking or admission. Enjoy our monthly classic car cruise-in on the first Saturday of every month, and garage sale weekend, the third weekend of every month. See all we have to offer at DaytonaFleaMarket.com or like us on Facebook. Discover Daytona's most unique shopping experience, the Daytona Flea and Farmers Market, just a mile west of the Speedway. We're back from where it all began, Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Gary Keller.
Thank you. We do appreciate this. And, man, is it good to see this guy here. You're a sight for sore eyes there, Tony. It's been a while.
It's been over 6 months for me since I saw him.
Oh, my gosh.
You guys look good, Tony. Yeah.
First, you may have gotten tired doing the petty driving, but I'll tell you, everybody who rode with you or followed you had never been more excited in their life.
Yep.
I can just recall how I will have 1-800-B-PETTY in my mind forever, because the back of that car looked huge trying to follow them.
Oh, really?
Great fun.
Yep.
Great fun. You're back now, Buzz, but
Yeah,
I
sure.
kind of wanted to do a little check.
Oh, see if
I was going to ask about the rec record, and you
Okay.
guys, so you're okay there.
Okay.
I got a new one for you. Well, yeah, back in history, June 20th,
Uh-huh.
1948.
On the beach.
Well, no, this isn't beach, but
June 20th, 1948.
it involves the three Flock brothers.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I know this one. Yeah. They finished first, second, third. Didn't they?
Well, NASCAR ran 3 championship races
Uh-huh.
at 3 different tracks on that day.
There you go. Okay.
And I think Fonte won Birmingham, Bob won Columbus, Georgia, and Tim won Greensboro, North Carolina.
There we go. I knew there was something like that. Where
3
all three of them.
races in one day.
That's pretty good. Yeah, you almost. Well, you got me. You got me. Okay.
Well, we'll call that a draw. You were
Well,
okay.
remember, I've been under the weather.
You're back. Good.
Okay.
We're back. Thanks, Tony.
Appreciate it, Tony. Yeah. So now, what do you prefer? Do you prefer the road racing, or do you prefer asphalt stock cars?
I wondered if you were going to ask me that. Honestly, it's hard to say, but I would say the sports car racing. Did you ask me about sports?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sports car. It just because of the challenges that you come up with. I liked it better. I like it better.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had to choose one, even though, to get into professional stock car racing like Gary, the team he owned and things like that is more lucrative as far as a driver if you get paid.
Right.
As a rule, it's harder to get paid much in sports car racing. But I have to say, I just really like the sports car racing.
But it seemed like it would be so much fun. It would have to be just a ball, especially at Watkins Glen, I would think. And I just can't imagine how much fun it would be to go road racing.
But what we've not touched on yet, you're still racing.
We're still racing.
You're still in action.
Yeah, we actually just took a little break for a while. My brother and I took a little hiatus, but we got fired up again. So we actually have 3 race cars now. We have 2 Porsches, and we have a Camaro that we just bought from Rebel Rock Racing here in Central Florida.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to run the Classic 24 at Daytona in a couple of weeks. Yeah,
Hot dog.
we've done that a few times. It's the last time that was like 2016 or 17. I
Is
think.
it a 24-hour race?
It is, in essence, it's a 24-hour race, but what it is, there's 6 different races per group.
Okay.
And you run 1 hour, and then the next group runs, but you run all night.
Oh.
So I think we looked up, my group will be the first group that goes out. It's at 1 o'clock, and then we go out again at like 7 p.m., and then whatever comes in, we're like 4 a.m., and then 10 a.m. or something. So, yeah, it's fun because it's a challenge to have to get going again. And what they do is they do a cumulative thing. So where you finish in segment 1 is where you start segment 2.
Oh, okay.
And so on and so on. And at the end, they tally it all up, and that's how you finish.
They call it interval racing.
Oh, okay.
Really? Well, I never heard of that.
Yeah.
How about that?
I didn't hear that term before.
Is there any money to be made?
By the people putting on the race.
Yeah, by the spot. By the track.
It all goes this way from us, unfortunately.
Yeah. But you're doing it because you're gentleman sportsman, right?
That's what we are.
For love of the game.
Yeah.
That's why I did it.
Yep.
Yeah, you know the saying, how do you make a large fortune in racing?
Yeah. Get rid of it.
Or have a small fortune racing, excuse me.
Yeah.
Start with a large one.
Yeah, it's exactly right, for sure. So no regrets?
Well, no. I mean, honestly, there's times I've thought that I probably would be a little better financially off if I hadn't spent the money racing. But then I think life is about experiences. And, if I hadn't done the things and had the opportunity to do the things I've been able to do, I wouldn't have these experiences to look back on.
Right.
So, no, I'm really happy. And again, I've been blessed to be around some people that were able to help me accomplish what I wanted to do. And were very generous in their time and finances. And so, yeah, I'm very thankful for what I've been able to do.
Yeah. Now, you've gotten advice from a lot of people, including David Pearson. And what's the best advice anyone ever gave you?
Well, this was a guy, and I can't think of his name, but he was a pretty pretty good local racer. And we were talking one time, and we were actually racing at New Smyrna. And I was talking about how hard it was to get better and how frustrating it could be. And you know, I don't know if I want to continue doing this because it just seems like I'm hitting my head against the wall. He said, Joe, that's not why you're doing this. You're winning every time you show up on the racetrack and run the race. You're winning because you're doing something that probably everybody out here watching wants to do.
Yes.
And it was just, it
didn't have the gall to do it.
And or even the you know, for whatever reason, that's right. And there are things, you know, people have families that they have to support and other life things. And I can't tell you how many people I've met over the years that, you know, said, gee, I wish I would have done it or wish I could have done it. And you know, I tell them, I said, I know what you mean. And I said, I've just been blessed and lucky that I've been able to do it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, when we had our old clunker running the dirt tracks around here, we never did much, but we were there. We were there, and that's what counts. Yeah. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back with Joe Jacalone.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Daytona Flea and Farmers Market is still the one for great savings and the best variety. Whether you need flowers and trees for your home or you're looking for great prices on Daytona Beach souvenirs, the market is the place to go. The market features 1,000 booths, 2 air-conditioned malls, a restaurant, and 9 snack shacks. Hops Grill features gourmet burgers and garden blend salads. Treat yourself to a great variety of brat and hot dog creations at the Dog House, or enjoy a refreshing drink at the Seltzer Oasis. The market is open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and is 90% undercover, so you can shop rain or shine. There's never a charge for parking or admission. Enjoy our monthly classic car cruise-in on the first Saturday of every month, and garage sale weekend, the third weekend of fleamarket.com, or like us on Facebook. Discover Daytona's most unique shopping experience, the Daytona Flea and Farmers Market, just a mile west of the Speedway. We're back from where it all began, racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Gary Keller.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're here with Joe Jacalone, and it's a well of a neat story here. The guys run just about everything, and including the petty thing. I'd pay them to let me drive those cars around there, you know. So
a lot of people did.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this segment's being brought to you by Homewood Suites by Hilton over on Daytona, Bill France Boulevard, right around the corner from the Speedway. And I'm sure this week is crazy with Bike Week in town, Biketoberfest. So there's probably loaded with motorcycles. But after that, you know, if you have anybody coming to town, you want to kind of show off a little bit, get them hooked up there. They got a great breakfast, complimentary, and a great happy hour.
They go over to the museum and to the track.
Yeah. Go to the Motorsports Museum of America. Do you know I was nominated for that?
I do.
Yeah. Somebody threw my name in. In fact, I think it was our old friend Bob Tullius.
Yeah. Very deserving, as far as I'm concerned, Buzz.
Well, I appreciate that.
As far as that goes, I'll even go as far as saying that I think you should be in the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
Oh boy,
I do too.
Sweet.
Absolutely. What you've done for the sport is what to me. Yeah.
What do you think, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh man.
I mean, you were there.
Old boy?
You made it happen. You filled up all those closets, Buzz.
That's right.
You did.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun doing it too. It's hard to believe I get paid for it.
Did you ever think about all the phone calls you made?
Oh my gosh.
How you maneuvered to get the phone numbers to get a hold of a lot of these people?
Yeah.
Like Fireball's girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, that's a great story.
Oh yeah.
Tell the audience about that. That was a great story.
Yeah,
I know you said it a couple times.
Well, what happened was we had. Of course, we went around to all these different people getting items, memorabilia, and all that. And there was a lady named Judy Judge, not Judge Judy, but Judy Judge, who was engaged to Fireball Roberts. And then, of course, he passed away in 1964 due to that fire. But we went up to talk to her, and she had scrapbooks and some trophies and all that sort of thing. She had this box that she pulled out, and holy cow, I just, the hair in the back of my neck stood up when she pulled out this Autolite jacket with his name on there, and the thing was in perfect condition. He had gotten it when he went over to drive for Ford, and Autolite was a division of Ford Motor Company, and I had seen him in that jacket in pictures and all that, and then to actually see that jacket. And so she said that after he died, she put everything away except for that jacket. She hung it in the closet, and she'd take it down from time to time, and she could smell him in the jacket.
I'll be darned.
And when she lost the smell of him, she put it in the box, and that was around 1965, and the jacket had not been out of the box since. And this is probably 2009, 2010. And to me, that was just the most amazing story.
And didn't you say there was a pack of cigarettes or something in the pocket, or what was it?
Yeah, the stuff was still in the pockets. There was a half a pack of Juicy Fruit gum.
That's right.
There was a credential from the race in Atlanta where he wore it for the last time with his signature on it. And there was a Bic lighter and half a pack of cigarettes. And it was like a time capsule. And to me, that was the most amazing thing out of all the thousands of items that we found for the hall. That one had the most significant story.
I love that story.
It just, that was my Indiana Jones moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, really something. Thank you for bringing that up.
Nope.
Yep.
I mean, the things you accomplished with the Hall of Fame. I mean, you set the scale very high.
Well, I appreciate that.
And whoever's got it now or has had it since, they've had an easier job because you paid the way, my friend.
Yeah. I think it turned out I was making about 37 cents an hour.
Yeah.
At that job. Yeah, really. Well, Larry, how you doing,
Hi,
bud?
guys.
Sorry, Larry. I didn't mean to get off
No
there.
problem, man. It's my pleasure. Nice to meet you, Joe.
Same
and
here.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for being here.
It's really fun. These guys do a great job, whatever guests we have, but it's really fun when we have a real racer, and that's what you are, sir.
Well, thank you so
We-
much for
we
saying
appreciate
that.
having
That
you.
means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody being here today. It means a lot to me to see the like-minded folks here.
That's very cool, man. I'd like to know, really, first I want to say Smokey and Buzz belong in the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Both of those guys do belong in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I would like to know a couple things, really. If you had a particular number that you raced all the time and what the significance of that number was, and also what you think your biggest accomplishment or biggest win was in racing.
Well, as far as the number goes, they were kind of random. Sometimes if it was already on a used car I bought, I just left it because it was easy. It saved me some money. Right. But the one number I picked was when my children were 3 years old and 8 years old. And my wife at the time said, well, why don't you make, Casey is 3 and Chris is 8. Why don't you make it 38? And I said, that sounds good to me. So actually I probably raced 38 more than in any number. I've stuck with it.
That's very neat.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that hardly anybody ever used it in NASCAR until Front Row started using it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what do you think was your biggest race win? What race maybe stands out for you that surprised you as to where you got, or?
It was a sports car race, and it was at Roebling Road Raceway in Savannah, and it was the Southeast Invitational Championship, and you had to be at a certain point level to even be invited to that race. And all the good guys that ran in the class were there, and I thought, there's no way I'm going to win this race. Not only did I win that race, but I sat on the pole with a new track record, and I won the race. So
wow.
The whole,
that's awesome.
That's great.
It was one of my better ones.
Oh, that's
Thank
super.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a fun race course, isn't it?
Look at
Oh,
it.
it's really, it's challenging and it's fun, and I consider it pretty safe except for a couple of places, but it's a good track. Yeah, I like it.
One thing that I noticed about you, you were always up there. You always had strong finishes. Maybe you didn't win every race, but you always seemed like you were top 10, top 15 in everything you did. That's strong.
I appreciate that. And honestly, what you just said, Gary, a lot of it was I used the philosophy that, which a lot of racers did, probably a lot of us that didn't win as many races as others, was, to to finish, or to win, you must finish.
Yeah.
And
you
so
saved your stuff.
Saved my stuff and tried to keep the car on track. And most times it paid off. Yeah, maybe I didn't win that race, but I was third, or I was second, or I was fourth. I wasn't 15th because I spun off, But, I did win a fair share of races, especially more so in road racing. I was pretty successful there. But even in stock car racing, I was fortunate to beat some really good guys. I remember one race here at New Smyrna, which was actually the only feature race I ever won at New Smyrna, was all the good guys were behind me. And I told my crew chief I qualified second. And through the heat race, I actually, second. And they started, that's right. I was just trying to remember. Started second. And I said, I got to get ahead of this guy into turn one. You got to call me clear on the radio. I don't care if you're not even sure. Just tell me I'm clear. Well, he panicked because he was afraid he was going to crash me. And he just kept his mouth shut. Well, I had to go. Yeah. And I missed him. I didn't feel anything, but I was able to hold off the field. And by the time I got to the finish, it was Larry Osteen and Greg Elliott were beating the back bumper off my car. But I ended up holding off and winning the race. And that was one of my proud stock car races.
That's great. Sure, it should have been.
Hey, we're going to take another real quick break. We'll be right back with Joe.
All right. Fun.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Welcome to Homewood Suites by Hilton in Daytona Beach. You're right in the middle of all the action. Daytona International Speedway, the airport, One Daytona, Florida's newest entertainment and retail destination, and of course, the world's most famous beach. You'll love our newly remodeled 1- and 2-bedroom suites, along with our popular King Studios. You won't need your full kitchen, as Homewood Suites Daytona serves up complimentary breakfast and evening social. It's like home away from home. Go to HomewoodDaytona.com for Homewood Suites by Hilton in Daytona Beach. We're back from where it all began. Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Gary Keller.
All right.
Boy, this hour's went quick.
I'm telling you, it's amazing. This is a prime example of, he said, well, why would you want me on your show? Are you kidding me? This guy's a racer. What do you think, folks?
Silent but deadly, ladies and gentlemen,
That's right
here.
Flying under the radar, and it's remarkable what you've accomplished, and I just can't tell you how thrilled we are to have you.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you very much.
I always like to know, and I always try to ask this question: what did you do to make a living through all the racing scenario?
Well, like Buzz asked earlier, the car business has been my life. So I worked in my dad's Gulf station. Until my older brother took it over in 1973, Mike. And then I worked for him until we started getting in too many fistfights. And then I went to work for a Shell gas station and did that until 79. And then my brother wanted me to come back, and we'd settled our differences. So I worked for him again a couple of years, and then we opened our own auto repair shop, my brother Mark and I. And we had that till I closed it last year. But we opened a used car lot. We opened a Chevron gas station. We had a tow truck service. We had several tow trucks. So the automobiles have always been my life.
Yeah.
So.
Are you retired now, or?
Semi. I still have a little shop I do some restorations in. And I've kept a few of what I call my blue chip customers I'll do some stuff for. And then we have another shop where we have our race cars in. So it seems like, as a lot of people say, I'm busier now, I feel like, than before I retired.
And you got your lady friend here, and she's involved. She's been involved in racing as well. And
yeah, she was a racer for years before I knew her. She drove sports cars and all kind of stuff.
This lady here has a whale of a story, but she won't tell anybody about it. She's very humble and
shy.
Yeah, very shy. But I think she'd be a remarkable guest. And talk about a pioneer.
Yeah.
She was out of the mold of Janet Guthrie and Donna Mae Mims and people like that. Smokey Drolet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're honored to have her. Michael, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Now you talk about your brothers. Joe. You had 3 brothers? Or 2?
I have 3 brothers. I have Mike, Mark and Jerome. Yep.
Right. Still alive?
Still alive. Yep.
Yep.
And I have a sister that passed away in 1975. But I have 2 other sisters, Roberta and Patty Lane, who actually lives here in Daytona Beach.
I see.
That's a whole nother story for another show.
Yeah.
We didn't know we had another sister, and we just found her a few years ago.
Oh, my gosh.
She had lived in Daytona the whole time.
Isn't that amazing?
Did one of those Ancestry.com.
One of my relatives did, and I said, y'all need to quit this. We already got enough relatives.
Hey, I was wondering, Rich, do you have a question for Joe?
Rich has always got a question.
Yeah, good. Joe, Rich is a heck of a racer. And
road racer.
Yeah, road racer.
Okay.
Yeah, sports cars, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, I knew. That's all it took. A little bit of siphoning there.
Yeah, we don't want to miss out on a good thing.
Yeah. Turn it on there, Rich.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I turned it the wrong way. Sorry.
It's okay.
As I said, I'm a road racer. We've been sitting here listening to you, and I came in and I told Tony, I said, you got a question for this guy today? If not, I got some. Tony says, no, I got 3 or 4. But my deal was, most people that are drivers, very seldom do you ever see a dirt track driver or a circle track driver that jumps into road racing. Just doesn't happen. So that's sort of an interesting story, and I think you answered some of that. But like when you run 24 hours, usually you got 4 drivers. And, that first driver's called the Rabbit, and he gets out there and goes. And your next 2 drivers, they're pacers. When I got invited, I was always going to be the pacer. Well, if you're a driver, you don't want to be the pacer. But then I said, hey, why are you picking me? And they said, well, we need somebody that can get there in the middle of the night, turn consistent laps, and bring the car back in. So I felt a little better, but I felt like a taxi driver. I heard you say that your brother allowed you to start one as the Rabbit. Did you do, were you a Rabbit?
I felt like I was because I was a racer. And so getting in the car, we didn't really have a strategy overall other than we did. We wanted to finish the race. To us, that first year. So, be careful but go fast. And I was pretty much the fastest guy in the car at that time. So that's why, one of the reasons, plus the fact my brother gave me that honor. But no, you're right. I mean, and especially, I don't know what years you were involved in it. Now it's become a 24-hour sprint race. I mean, the cars are so good now. You can basically run wide open for 24 hours. They just don't break. And you can see that if you watch it on TV or if you go watch. Back when I started watching it myself in the 70s and 80s, I mean, you had to nurse the cars home. They wouldn't make it if you beat them all night. So, no, I get that.
And the other question is, typically in those days, if you're a driver, you got to bring some money with you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And so that's an interesting thing. Guys go out to drive and they don't think about the money side. And that's one of the reasons to nurse them and bring them back in. And we were just, a compliment to you is Mike and I were sitting there listening. We're thrilled and said, we'd like to sit down and have a dinner with this guy and just talk to him and let him talk. The key being, as Mike said, you are a thinking man's racer, and we can see that coming out.
Well, I appreciate that.
And that's just wonderful. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Good analysis, Rich. Thank you. It's cool.
I knew he'd.
I knew he'd
warm
belly up.
to you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, this has been such a great pleasure meeting you and hearing your story and getting to know you. And it's funny how we kind of crossed paths back there at the first term a while back.
It was a couple of years ago, I think I first met you, and Gary as well. Do you know? I know you know Dave West, or knew Dave West.
Oh,
right?
sure do.
Dave worked at the archives too, right?
He did, yes. Yeah, he came in right after I left. He was in there with Eddie Roach.
Okay. Yeah, him and I became pretty good friends. In fact, he put together an online page with a lot of my photos that I think are still out there.
Yes, boy, that was terrific. His photo pages were tremendous.
Really were, yeah.
So, Joe, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with who you are and what you did in the racing world, and during this segment we talked about just do it. and you did it, man.
Yeah, that's
you were
right.
there.
Well, and I don't mean to say this than any other reason I believe it. I mean, for you to do what you did, to have the race teams, Buzz to accomplish what he did with NASCAR and being the historian he's been, all of us just played our part. But the cool thing to me, when a lot of us our age started, it wasn't like it is today. Like I said, they called the Sports Car Club of America the Secret Car Club of America because it was like a cliquey thing and it was hard to get into.
Yeah.
But, just to do it back then, I'm proud of the fact that I was able to figure out a way to be able to
You
do
have
it.
a great story, and we hope you come back.
I would love to.
And
we'd
bring
love to have
bring
back.
your lovely lady, and we want to hear her story.
There's a lot of guys out there that are just as deserving, if not more, and I hope you get a lot of these guys on there, too.
Buzz and I enjoy, and Mike, we enjoy the fact that everybody's got a story. We enjoy you as much as we do a Mario Andretti, even though it's probably a little bit better for our ratings, but we still enjoy guys like you. Rich Combs, his story. I mean, everybody here that's in the racing world, we like to hear that story, and that's what we're all about, right, Buzz?
Oh, absolutely. Well, we thank everybody for putting on this show, and Dave and Mike and Danny, we thank you.
And don't forget about prayers for Alma.
Yes.
Your mother.
Yes, we definitely need prayers for the matriarch of the long-suffering McKim women.
Yeah, I hate to see that one go. That's a sad day for me.
Yeah, she's 1 month short of her 96th birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's lived a heck of a life, and it would make a heck of a story.
Yeah, a great soul.
Yeah. Okay, next week we're going to have Gary. No,
George.
not Gary. George.
Yeah.
George Libby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always
his
a
new book.
great show.
Oh yeah, it'll be great. And Joe, once again, we thank you so much for
Joe,
being here.
how about a hand, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah. See you next week, everybody. Thank you.
The Legends of Racing radio show originates live from the very spot where beach racing began. Racing's